Okay, we are playing Mappies again. The Soviet Union? No, that's Slavia. Mighty Slavia. Powerful. We're fighting a war against Japan, which nobody wants, really. Japan invaded me again. It's much easier to beat them if you don't let them do that. If you hold them. But, we didn't do that because we were fighting Germany. And they invaded us without me noticing until they were at, like, Lake Baikal. So the Slavic High Command was kind of at the bed, shitting at the bed, behind the wheel. What am I trying to say? Asleep at the wheel. Sadly. But, that's okay. No. Also, I'm the leader of the Allies. That's pretty funny. Green Allies. Poland leads the Allies. That's kind of retarded, but hilarious. Polish Slavic Union. I looked it up, and these guys are supposed to break out when they get on my course. Because there's an achievement for annexing Bulgaria. I need Bulgaria and this. So they're both supervised. So I should be able to get those. But I don't know, I might have to invade the world. Because they're all going to leave my faction after the war. Yeah, we've got up to there. That's really good. Alright. Oops. Just kind of killed you guys' supply. Silly me. Right, idea. Both at once. It's perfect. Why didn't Goering do this? Oh, yes. Look at how fast that is. And then we'll get the jet engine next. I'm just bulking my Air Force. I mean, oof. Oof, I gotta juice up my fucking Air Force, really. To a terrible degree. And then I guess I can use the mech. Alright, we're getting an anti-tank. Holy fuck. Let's do like 2 more. Okay, 1 more on guns. 1 more on advanced artillery. Are we on support equipment? Good, wow. Right, lower that. We can do a little more on that. We don't need any more fucking infantry. We have so much infantry. Oh god, stop attacking. We need more fucking transport planes. More. Alright, we're gonna build rubber. Mother for the... We need rubber for the motherland. Rubber, yes. The Polish people must go into a beautiful, beautiful rubber building campaign. Okay. Steel. No, we don't need steel. No, plenty of steel. Oh, we need to stop attacking here. Holy shit. shit. Stop attacking. Gather up to the front. Oh wait, no. Oh yes, the Russian Air Force is mighty. Okay, we actually are doing good on supply over here now. It'd be very helpful if we could kill, Tanu Tuva. That's hilarious, but we're actually having issues killing Tanu Tuva. Eastern Siberia. Oh man, I really would like to get some to the Central Steppe. Do we need more, like... Oh, we should capture that. We should do a good attack down here. Hold on, like an upwards attack. The Russian army, fuck it. And the Soviets have powerful decisions that you don't have as Poland. Even though I'm basically Russia, but I just annexed the Soviets. Start as Poland, but I look like Russia. Cunt. I might have to we might have to fight. I mean, whatever. It's not really that much. I bet, like, these guys wouldn't leave. Most of them would probably leave, but they wouldn't rejoin the Allies, I don't think. Some of them might. And I can't spread communism either. No, that's good though, because then they totally won't leave, because I'll be non-aligned. They might be mad I'm so tension causing. Oh, the Soviet Union? What? Oh, the Slavic Union. Lol. Yeah, they're cutting our railways, but we have planes, so it's okay. We don't rely on fucking railways. Get back in. Actually, cavalry recon detachment. We need more trucks. We can cap him right now, that'd be so good. Alright. Heavy fighters. Oh yeah, we want this, then we can get fucking... What is it? Okay, it says jet technology, but I mean, that means jets, right? I mean, please. Imagine it doesn't. Oh no. You guys all unmotorized. Forgot that happens when you restart the game. It's pretty dumb. Whoa. Listen to me here, boys. You do not want to be fucking... horsey power. You want fucking trucks. It's way better. We need so much goddamn fucking rubber, man. The motherland must construct rubber. Glorious People's Republic. Bam. Oh, we need to do an offensive down. I mean, really, you think? Seriously, like, you want to fight my fighters? We can do it. but I guarantee I have more fighters than Japan. Yeah. Damn. Total fighter dominance. Take the cast too, though. Just take the one cast. Come on, boys. Airstrikes will surely help. If we get one generation of rubber done, we'll be pretty good. If we could get real transport out here, it would be Jover for him. I guess need more transport planes. Oh no. That's bullshit. Okay, good. We got another Japanese army. Great. These guys are dummies. I bet you don't fucking invade me for no reason, Japan. Holy shit. You're way out of your fucking league here, Japan. Way out of your league. You're fighting the Polish army. No one will ever defeat the Polish army. You don't get it, do you? It's impossible. The Japanese will bleed to death. They will die to the Americans. You're being outproduced, kid. Oh, it's the Polish names. It's beautiful. So to make sure I'm not... Oh man, we have forces in China. And we have supply planes down here. Yeah, we kinda got the allies down here. We got some allies. But it looks like we want to get like into this. Into southern China. Not so much Qinghai. Can I get like an allied airport? No, they're maxed out. Alright, well. Oh, he's like, no way. He's like, maybe. Can we do like regional baby step stuff. Boom. Blow the shit out of them. Bam. Man, look, we're not even hitting it with the cast though. Maybe it just kicked in and that's why we beat him. This should cap him. They're migrating, but they're gonna lay down their arms. Tanutuva. You dick. There's one more of my cores. Silly but true. Alright. We're gonna take you and form a new group. Army team, China. We're gonna just remove all the people who aren't in combat from power. Alright. Let's just put all out-of-duty troops in this theater. And we'll bring you over here. Where's a good place to do an offensive? Like nowhere. Maybe like in here because there's good supply. Trucks can go across rivers, alright. Imperialist dog. Come on, baby, Manchukuo offensive. Oh, you can all reach Manchuria? That's insane. Build that up. Man, hey America, stop trashing my supplies, bro. I hope we can attack into Manchuria, that'd be epic. But yeah, he's just collapsing. It's crazy. He's weak. all the light tanks in our units are actually American light tanks, which is kind of epic. Russians in the lee. Yeah, the supply planes are actually kind of having difficulty supplying armies this big, but it certainly helps. I mean, we would be dying completely if we didn't have it. Look at that. It helped a little. It helped a lot. Pastulka. Fighter 3s. Oh, we have full army XP. Oh, we should make a new one of these anyway. Okay. I might just pussy out on that one. All of my supply comes from planes. Yes. Yeah, I'm desperate, man. Slavic motherland produces oil and rubber. Glorious Slavic Union. No Mongolians allowed. Dwajiski Basha. Diplomatic mission to Finland and Turkey. Get these two back in the faction. Oh, look at that. We got a supply plane bonus now. Fantastic. Where are we attritioning? Up here. In the Far East. Hold on. Oh, look. Oh, we did get all this. Yeah. Do we make good submarines? No. We had good submarines 4 years ago. Lol. And then we actually got armies still on like an attack order. Need some fighters. Slavic invasion into Manchuria. Go! Go! Slavia strong! Damn, can I please get some fucking planes that... I mean, holy shit. How many more fucking supplies do you need than this? Are some of these... Yeah, some of these... I have like veteran transport planes somewhere. Well, they're pretty good trained. It's pretty funny. Take care of it, America. I mean, Japan's about to fucking win, and the USA is right there, so... Mongolia fight against the entire world. Oh no, none of them helped me. Fuck. God damn, you bastards. Not allied to Mongolia. They're scum. If you want something done, you gotta do it yourself. The Polish military can take hand of it. Don't fucking worry, man. I didn't train at the academy to not be able to fucking take care of it. We still fucking have some, right? No, but when we do, bring them down. Alright, need them now. There you go, sit them down. Well, I kind of wish the Allies were not dicks. It would help me invade Mongolia, but... whatever. Man, really? it is Siberia. I guess I get it, but I'm totally over-relying on transport planes. Pretty funny. Just like Goering. We're the Allies and we won't fucking stand up against communism in Mongolia. 'Cause we're fucking pussies. Big fucking pussies. Fuck you, Churchill. You dickhead. Help. Help. Retard. FDR, why do we vote for you? Anti-Bolshevik aid. Countries at war with the Soviet Union. Soviet Union doesn't even exist. I'm gonna be real. The only reason I even attacked Mongolia was because I thought they were about to capitulate to Japan. And I just wanted a piece of the pie. But it appears that might not happen. Take the airport, champ. Yeah, Hungary. It's because I take all your fucking equipment is why you can do that. I don't think they're gonna cap after this. Yeah, they're not. We just got it. It's simple. We need more planes. And we need more enemies killed. Good timing. Alright. Study foreign tanks. Seems like a good idea to me. doing, man? Really? I'm consuming that much aluminum. Holy fuck, transport planes are aluminum cost heavy. Still too many. Oh. There you go. Now all we need is rubber. Slavic Air Force grows by the day. Yeah, you guys need to go. We'll just see what happens. But I think good things will happen. Even under this kind of air conditions. Yeah, we got that airport. Epic. Hey, dumbass. Please surrender. 97. Now we're just fucking kill this retard, man. Stop focusing on stupid ass Mongols. Kill the Japs. New airport. Objective found. There we go. What do I even want with Mongolia? Nothing. I'll annex it and release it. Great Mongolian state. Truly the greatest government to ever be existing. Alright. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, we all get a little wounded sometimes. Alright, we pushed a lot of land in China. It's like right here, in southern Mongolia. Hell yeah. Everybody who's flying in the central steppe fly into it. Allies are the worst allies ever, by the way. It wouldn't even help me fucking invade Mongolia. Traitors. Oh yes, look at this encirclement. It's like the whole Japanese army that invaded Mongolia. Epic. LOL. I am the captain now. I love just bitching the allies out of their own faction. Did they remove continuous focuses? No. Like, I forgot this was even a mechanic. But there used to be one for something. I don't know what I was going to say. Destroy them like the pigs they are. Get out of my fucking airport, retard. Fuck Gobi, nobody needs Gobi. Alright, almost 100. I can't believe how rapidly we're advancing. Like in real life, Hirohito might be like, okay. I mean, look at this. He was like this in real life, but he didn't actually fight for like that very long. And it is kind of cool how they beat China, Japan. They probably would actually if they beat China. But, no way would they beat China. No way would they beat China. With, like, the USSR. With, maybe they might in this world. Because there's no, USSR to aid them. But I mean, that aid basically became Allied aid by the German war, by the time the Germans invaded. So I mean, like, the Allies just shot the bed, basically. But really, Japan is just OP against China, just compared to history. guess I'm Poland. It's kind of retarded that Poland is the leader of the Allies and is known as the Slavic Union. I think these guys will leave when this war ends, though I'm not sure. I might have to fucking gang fuck the Allies. I'll do it. Oh man, I wish I could just be like, you may not trade with others. Crazy to invade Japan through China. You don't really see that happen very often. Who shall we spy on? Japan seems the obvious answer. Hey US, can we get an invasion? No, I mean, I know I'm gonna have to do that, but it'd be a nice thought. US is a dick. So he would never fucking, actually help me. I mean, it's gonna be good for us to invade Japan anyway, because it gives us the points. It's funny though, because as leader of the Allies, I basically caused the faction to disband because everyone's gonna leave. Modern tanks, I suppose. It's the Spanish in exile. I can't tell what's better, excavation or more refineries. I'd be worried about this if our supply wasn't entirely based off of airplane deliveries. My people are basically booted from here. We'll do that and then re-bust the bomb. Definitely, yeah, okay. More forces in Manchuria. Certainly, and that's what we're getting now. So we have way too many guys up here. Redeploy in the heart of our offensive area. Surrender, you goddamn bandit. Making me fucking march through his land. Scumbag of the highest order. A whole Japanese army has been encircled in there. Damn, it actually looks like it sucks. We're about to arm Korean militants. Where's the armed Korean militants decision? Forward. I'm about to boot you out the faction America if you don't like me. Get the fuck out of my faction. Don't want to give me Ford Motors. American invasion, would you look at that?
Christmas is a time of year to be happy, merry, and joyful. At least for most people. I love spreading cheer to family and friends on Christmas. My joyful mood usually translates to my coworkers as well. I work in customer service, which many people know can be a nightmare at Christmas time, so it helps to try and stay upbeat. Well, on this specific Christmas Eve, customers were doing some final Christmas shopping before Christmas Day. Right at the end of my shift, I cashed out a pretty normal-looking guy. I would say the average height range of like 5'7" and maybe 150 pounds.
A combined
He had
offensive.
parted black hair, glasses, and was probably in his mid-40s. He was buying some fairly normal stuff and not really anything Christmas-related. The whole interaction was mostly friendly until the very end when I said something I now wish I didn't say. I ended our transaction by saying in my bubbly voice, "Thank you, sir, and have a happy holiday." He stopped and turned back to me and said, "What did you just say?" I responded nervously and semi-confused, "Have a happy holiday?" He stormed back to my register and screamed at the top of his lungs, "It's Merry Christmas."
Based.
I backed away in a slight panic and just said, "Okay, sir, I'm sorry." He walked away mumbling to himself, but I could tell he was furious by his recent actions. For a couple of minutes, I kept staring outside, and I could see him pacing in front of the store, still seemingly mumbling to himself.
But he voted Trump.
A few people actually came into the store and said that there was someone outside talking about Christmas and Jesus' birthday. I began to panic, thinking this guy was going to come into the store again or wait until I got out and try to follow me home or something. Well, luckily for me, my boyfriend worked at the same store, and he was driving us to my mom's house for a Christmas Eve party at the end of the night. We left shortly after 6, and at first I was relieved when I didn't see the man outside. We were almost to my boyfriend's car when we saw the man running after us from the side of the store. My boyfriend opened up the backseat door so I could hop in, and he stood there in front of the car. My boyfriend said in a stern voice, "Hey, is there a problem, man?" The man, still in a rage, said, "That lady has no respect for Jesus or Christmas, and she should be punished." My boyfriend, confused, told the man to back away and leave us alone, and the crazy man actually tried to jump past my boyfriend to get into the car to punish me, or whatever that meant. My boyfriend slammed the guy down to the ground and got into the car, and we drove off. Like fools, we decided on the drive not to call 911 because we didn't want to bother them on Christmas Eve, so we thought, and just wanted to forget the event. On December 26th, we did alert our store manager of the situation so we could call the police if the guy ever came back into the store. I still work at the store, and almost a year later, I have never seen that man again. I can say for certainty that I will never say Happy Holidays again. Secret Santa is a game that usually gets played in a classroom or, in my case, an office. I'm sure you're well aware of what it is, but in case you're not, I'll give you the quick version. Everyone is assigned a random coworker to secretly give a gift to. Usually there's something like a price cap around $15 or so.
How do I not have enough?
It's usually a pretty interesting turn of events as we get to learn a thing or two about coworkers as you start digging up on what their interests are and what have you. 9 times out of 10, you just find out cute things like big angry looking guy has a secret passion for growing flowers, general stuff like that. We always look forward to Secret Santa, as we had an almost family-like community here where we were all encouraged to spend as much time as possible together. The tidbits of gossip were always playful and fun. This was not one of those times. This time around, I was the unfortunate soul who was gifted upon by the weird IT guy. Let's call him Squid. Squid was a guy with no social skills whatsoever, however, at the same time, an ingenious worker in his craft, or so they told me. I don't know 2 things about anything that's tech-related outside of spreadsheets, email, and Amazon, if you could even call it that. A little background real quick. I'm a secret collector of these weird big-headed toys called Funko Pops. Not just any particular type either, but specifically Game of Thrones types. I have this unhealthy obsession with that show, and for what started out as a joke where I bought a Jon Snow toy, quickly spiraled out of control, resulting in me owning almost all of them. You should see the shelf in my room.
No.
Jaime Lannister, the Hound, Snow, Giant's Bane, the Night King, Littlefinger, Tyrion,
Yeah.
Dany, Ned,
We know
Stannis,
the characters
you name it. I
in
had
Game
them
of
all.
Thrones.
However, there was this one character that I could never find,
The Manus.
and that was a specific version of Tyrion. The one where he's in the battle armor with a scar across his face. You know, like in Season 2's Blackwater episode. Point is, not everyone gets the whole collection thing, and Funkos are, well, different than what everyone else was expecting.
Soy.
Nobody at work knew, and I intended to keep it that way. On my way home, between the time of us signing the Secret Santas and the day we exchanged, I ran into Squid at a hobby store. It looked like he was expecting to see me there. Or maybe that was just because he was weird and always looks that way. Either way, I have no clue. I didn't expect to see him there and tried to turn and leave. Me being an idiot, I looked back as I cleared the door and accidentally made direct eye contact with him. He got really nervous and looked down at the ground. I wasn't sure what to do, so instead I just left. I would talk to him next time I saw him and make up an excuse. I wouldn't bring this up, but the thing is, it plays a factor in the day we exchanged. Turns out he got me exactly the Funko doll I was looking for. My boy Tyrion with his battle scar. Specifically the one I never told anyone at work I wanted.
Wow.
How he knew just made those bells in my head explode.
Yeah.
Everyone had a good laugh, and Squid looked so nervous, almost pale, when he gave it to me. When I asked him how he knew, he said it was just a guess, seeing as we ran into each other at the store by chance. When I got home, I put the doll in the corner of the room and never took it out of the bag. It just seemed so creepy to me that he knew to get me specifically that one doll. I couldn't even add it to the collection. I almost threw it away, but instead I just forgot about it for the next couple of weeks. Squid continued to ask me about it, specifically what I thought about it and if I set it up yet. I kept telling him I didn't, and he just kept getting more annoyed about it. He's been watching me more and more these days. I was thinking about complaining to HR, but everyone knew that Squid was like this homeschooled weirdo. Uncomfortable, but accepted regardless, as per the nature of the place we worked. So one day he asked me, and I decided just lie and say yes. I stood the thing up in my TV room. Poor Squid looked beyond skeptical, and beyond that, even more annoyed, like he could just see through it. Turns out, Squid can tell when I lie. Who knows? Either way, it was getting unbearable. So I get home, and the first thing I do is take it out of the bag and throw it away.
What the fuck?
As I do, I notice the factory seal on the box was torn open. Well, sort of. That wouldn't bother me so much, but it had masking tape over it as if to try to hide the fact. Big deal. Maybe someone got caught trying to take it out of the box and they just refurbished it. I don't know. Either way, I took it out of the box to look at it closely.
I do not believe the story.
Part of me wanted to know if the creep slipped a note inside, but there was nothing but the usual stuff. I noticed two things out of the gate. One was that the doll was heavier than usual. Like I said earlier, I've been collecting these things for quite some time, so I should know. The other was that the head had a crack in it. I take a closer look and notice that the crack actually wraps around the entire head. I prod at it for a second and notice that it's actually a seam from when it was split open.
It's a fake story.
The head came apart very easily, and as it did, the small thing fell out of it. It looked like a plug or something, but then I realized the plug had a small glass over the receiving part. I take a closer look and see this tiny red light. Then it hits me.
It's not how cameras even look.
This is a camera. Some kind of DIY thing, like it was homemade. As I make it to throw it across the room, the light shuts off. Squid realized I found him out. I wrapped it in 3 plastic bags, then put it into a box. The thought of having it in my house made my stomach turn, but I needed to show it to HR. When I showed up to work the next day, Squid was gone. Turns out he left a last-second call saying that he was quitting, effective immediately. Turns out he wiped his entire hard drive before he took off sometime the prior night. The word got out that Squid was trying to spy on me, and everyone was pretty cool about it, mostly on account of them saying things like, "I knew it." I mean, let's face it, we all did. So here's the part that really messes with me. It turns out that the main reason Squid was able to learn so much about me was the fact that I was foolish enough to leave my Google account logged into the work computer. From there, it was easy enough task for Squid to break into my account and learn all my personal information.
Game.
Think about it. My entire phone was linked to Google. That thing has me on GPS, granting him the ability to stalk and keep track of me just 2 rooms away. No wonder he found out about the freaking doll. He had almost everything, but bad for him, I didn't own a webcam or anything like that for him to hack. He just needed to see me at night when I was private and vulnerable. I deleted all my accounts, changed my numbers, got rid of everything that gave him access to my personal information.
God
I
hates this
changed
story.
bank accounts, cut my credit and debit cards, completely uplifted my digital footprint. It just scares me because I just don't know how much information is out there about me, how far it goes. In the end, the police caught him and he was brought up on stalker charges of some sort. He pled guilty to infiltrating my life. He told them he wanted to learn the layout of my house. Do I really need to spell it out for you any further? Look, judge me if you want, but please, for the love of God,
You're
be
a
careful
bitch.
when you share your personal information, especially when
And
it
your
comes to
story
work
sucks.
computers. You just don't know who is watching.
Deorged.
The traumatizing events of this story happened to me several years ago. This is the first time I'm sharing my story publicly in hopes it may help others who read it. At the time, I was a mother of a 4-year-old daughter. Her name is Juniper, and she is my entire life. The day of these events, my husband was at work, so I decided to do some Christmas shopping at the mall. On the way in, Juniper saw Santa sitting in the middle of the atrium and began jumping because I assumed she associated Santa with presents. We decided to get into line, even though it was long. We could get a picture and she could tell Santa what she wanted for Christmas. When it was finally Juniper's chance to sit on his lap, I immediately felt uncomfortable. I didn't like the way he was staring at her. His eyes were big and looked as if though he had been on something. She sat there for a moment and told the man what she wanted as I watched, filled with anxiety. After about 2 minutes, he got her off his lap and winked goodbye to her and said Merry Christmas. Happy this ordeal was over, we did the little bit of shopping we had to do and pressed on
Free
for the day.
Empire.
While I was browsing around one of the clothing stores, I looked up and thought I noticed the mall Santa sitting outside of the store we were in. Not taking any chances, I grabbed Juniper and walked out of the other entrance of the store.
Almost got Japan.
After a little while longer of shopping, we decided to get some lunch in the food court of the mall. I kept my eyes peeled because I just had Mother's intuition that something wasn't right. We were finishing our food, and literally as we were about to get up, the mall Santa came over to our table. He walked right up to Juniper and said in a jolly Santa-like voice, "Hey there, Juniper. Remember to be good so Santa can come and bring you lots of presents." She was so excited, and so were all the people around me. It's easy to say what you would do in that situation, but I just stood still. I thought freaking out my daughter and rushing her away from Santa would be a traumatizing event, so I grabbed her hand and told her it was time to go. She said goodbye to Santa and we left. That night at home, I told my husband about the entire story. He was angry, but agreed with my course of action. The next day, I woke up at about 8 a.m. My husband was already gone for work for the day. I happened to look outside and saw a strange blue car that I had never noticed parked outside my house. This didn't really bother me considering it could have been anyone, but it was just peculiar. At about 11 a.m., I looked out the window again and noticed the car was still in the exact same spot. I made the choice to go out to my mailbox in front of my home and investigate the car. The car was empty, except for the passenger seat. There was a Santa hat on the seat. I tried not to jump to any conclusions, but it was just starting to make too much sense in my head. I ran inside and called my husband. He said I was grasping at straws, but decided to come home anyway to make sure I was okay. A couple of minutes later, my worst fear was realized. I looked out the window and saw the man in his car. It was the mall Santa, and he was taking a picture of my house with his cell phone. Once he saw me, he drove away, and he drove away so fast I couldn't get the license plate number. Minutes later, my husband came home and I explained what I saw. We called the authorities, but there really wasn't anything that could be done. I felt angry with myself that I looked at the car all morning and couldn't get a license plate number. My husband stayed home from work the next day just in case. At about noon, we walked around the house and noticed footprints outside of Juniper's window. Footprints in the snow that neither of us left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt like I was just waiting for something horrible to happen. My husband, Juniper, and I all decided to have a camp out in the living room so she could be with us all night. Shortly after midnight, my husband and I were alerted to the sound of a car pulling up. It was the mall Santa car from the day before, and he was approaching the house with a giant bag in his hand. I called the police, as my husband stalked him through the windows. The lights were off, so the mall Santa couldn't see us through the windows. He made his way all the way to Juniper's window. He started to tap on the windows, almost as if though he was trying to wake her up. My husband stood on the other side of the window, trying not to scare him away until the cops came. That's when we heard it. "Hey, Juniper, it's Santa. Come take a ride in my sleigh and I'll show you the reindeer." Praying that the cops would show up any minute, I sat in the fetal position, not knowing if this lunatic had a gun or any other weapon. He kept tapping and whispering, "It's me, Santa."
China?
Finally, the cops showed up.
No way.
When we heard the sirens out front, my husband jumped out the window and tackled the mall Santa. My husband yelled for the cops, and the cops detained the man. He didn't have any weapons on him, but his car did have duct tape and rope. It gives me nightmares to this day, thinking of that horrible situation and what could have happened. My Christmas miracle is that my family is safe, and my daughter didn't have to really experience any of the intense feelings my husband and I did over those couple of days.
That piece of land.
If you as a parent have instincts about the safety of your child, please follow them. If I would have just left the mall when I felt uneasy, I could have possibly avoided this entire series of events.
I can't believe China is so far from capping. It's crazy.
It was December, some many years ago. I somehow found myself doing shoots for one of those get your picture taken with Santa things. For the most part, I just took the money for the pictures and everyone else did the rest. It wasn't exactly the most exciting thing. Without going into too much detail, I'll just say that when it came to an end, I think I was more excited for that than I was my own high school graduation. There's a lot of reasons. Things like screaming children, the ironic teenagers who had a tendency to mess with the setup, you name it.
Ironic.
But I think the biggest thing was the fact that it was just plain humiliating. At least the people were nice. There was this super hot lady who was always nice to me. Not that I had a chance or anything, but it was a big reason why I didn't just walk away. The guy they had who played Santa was a funny dude. He played the role very well and very enthusiastically. The children, or at least the ones who weren't crying, just ate his act right up. In a lot of ways, I kind of admired the man. On breaks, I would usually smoke with him in the back entrance. One time, I asked him what his secret was. He looked me square in the eyes with this intense stare, which, mind you, he was still dressed as Santa, so it was somewhere between being hard to take serious and also hard not just to shrug off. "Drugs," he said flatly. Then he held the look just long enough to make it extremely awkward. Finally, he burst into laughter. It was hard not to laugh with him. The guy had one heck of a sense of humor. So one day, he pulls a no-call, no-show. I get in and everyone is freaking out. Usually nobody cared all that much as we all got to go home, but seeing as it was Christmas in a few days, this was when the profit was at its height. Messing with this was not to be taken lightly. 10 minutes into me showing up and they decided I should take the role. I wasn't that old, however, I was pretty fat at the time. I put up an argument, but in the end, it was do it or get fired. I tried to convince myself that impressing the hot lady I mentioned earlier would make it worthwhile, but when that first kid crawled on my lap and told me that she wanted a PlayStation 2, I realized that nothing could redeem this. About 3 hours into doing this, I noticed a strange man sitting in the food court. He looked older, like his skin was leathery.
Wuhan.
Looked like he's been in a few fights, too. He was looking right at me. I'm not talking about a bypassing glance either, no. This guy was giving me the stink eye. I tried to ignore him, figuring he'd just go away after a while, but the guy just stayed right there. He wouldn't stop staring at me. I wanted to point this guy out to my coworker, thinking that they could call security, but then I started to let the possible repercussions snowball in my head.
Union strong.
What if he realized what I did, just walked away to another location where he could attack me in, let's say, the parking lot, or maybe the backseat of my car? By this point, I knew he was here for me. Nobody does what he does unless they're in it for the long run.
Standing in Slavic
and I make a
imperialism.
brisk jog, like walk away from his sight.
Nuts.
As I do, I see him get up and move to follow me. As soon as I hit the corner, I run for it. Realizing this goon might see me at any second, I run straight into the public bathroom to my left and hide myself in one of the stalls. It's about a minute before the door bursts open and the creepy dude runs into the bathroom, slightly out of breath. I hold my breath, terrified that if I didn't, the bells on the Santa suit would give me away. Thing is, it's pretty hard to hide when you're dressed like Father Christmas. You see, you got these red pants and these black boots. They're a dead giveaway, especially when you're hiding in a stall where you can see the feet underneath. The man saw it straight away and kicked the door open. He grabbed me by the collar and shoved me against the wall. I could tell he was in his late 30s, early 40s maybe. He demanded me to give him the money I owed him. Here's the thing. I'd never seen this guy before, not once in my entire life. Why would I owe him money? Did I borrow money from someone recently? No, that couldn't be. I don't know what you're talking about, I tell him. I'm sufficiently freaked out at this point. What did I get myself into? I mean, to an outsider, I'm sure it looks silly. A goon intimidating a Santa in a bathroom. This guy rips my mask right off my face and throws it in the sink. Then he raises his fist to punch me. But before he lets his fist fly, he takes a step back, letting go of me. You're not him. He looks more afraid than I do at this point. He demands that I stay right there as he pulls out a flip phone and calls somebody. He's pretty low-key about what he's saying, and I'm just standing there completely nervous. What was just a minute felt like hours to me as the man paced back and forth in the bathroom as I stand there in my beardless Santa outfit. Finally, the guy flips his phone shut and smiles at me. I see he's got teeth missing. I'll never forget what he said. It was equal parts confusing and relieving. Sorry, bud. Wrong Santa. Merry Christmas. And out he went. I was pretty confused, to say the least. I don't know how I pulled off the rest of that Santa shift, but apparently not all that great. My boss kept reprimanding me for seeming too nervous and not being cheerful enough. Later that night, it all seemed to come together to me. The Santa who banged in, he was the one they were after. In the end, it all made perfect sense. Why he was so animated, why he always seemed in a good mood. The whole works. All things considered, he was very naughty, and I was almost the one who got the call. I don't know if they ever caught up to him in the end, but if they did,
Poetic.
I for one hope that his wallet was full. I'd hate to see what they'd do if he had nothing to give. I used to work at a 24-hour McDonald's during my first year of college, right in the town where I grew up. I was 18 at the time, and I'm still a petite girl. Our store owners were greedy scumbags, so for our large city, we were the only McD's staying open for Christmas. So I switched around on the schedule that I'd come in after family stuff on Christmas Eve, and be home in the morning to open presents and then sleep. Somewhere around midnight, a mid-20s man came in. He was slightly overweight, tall. His clothes kind of fit in an awkward way that's hard to describe. Like he wore the same things every day and put zero thought into his appearance. The way his shirt was tucked in, the way his belt bunched his pants, that his pants were a bit too short and showed too much ankle. His beard was patchy and uneven and grew down his neck, and you might wonder why I have such a thorough description of him. because he stayed in the dining room for at least 2 hours within sight of the counter, and almost every time I checked, he was staring at me. He would come back to the counter at least twice or more to order additional small items off the value menu. After the second time I caught him staring again, and he gave me a creepy smile while he still had food in his mouth. I'm bad at hiding my facial expressions, and I'm sure I wrinkled up in a disgusting face and turned away to go to the back. I told the one guy on our skeleton crew that night that some lingering dude was creeping me out and asked him to switch with me on the front. It was a pretty dead night, so it really didn't matter where we were stationed, so he switched with me. After a bit in the back, it was normally the time that night shift would clean the customer areas for a jump on the next day before morning rush started. My coworker said the dude was still out there, so I asked to clean the bathrooms instead, while he wiped down the tables and
like,
then we
goddamn it.
tackled the floor together, so it was quick. I started on the men's bathroom since the only guy in the place was currently at his table. But just to be sure, of course, I knocked on the door first, then called out to anyone
Thank
inside
God.
that it was time for cleaning. It's not a glamorous job to clean a bathroom, but it had been a quiet night, so it wasn't that bad. Then I did the same knock to check to start cleaning the woman's bathroom. It was a bit of a maneuver both times to bring in the mop bucket and the tote with the cleaning supplies, so I was a bit distracted when I came in and went to place the tote on the sink counter, which is probably why I didn't notice the shadow in the stall closet to the sink. I was pulling items out of the tote right away when I kind of noticed movement in the mirror behind me and looked up to see creepy guy almost fully behind me, only seconds before his hand closed on my arm. He was grinning in a way that made me feel sick right away. He pulled my upper arm in a way that made me turn around towards him, and he must have seen my face screw up as I took a deep breath because he started to try and cover my mouth with his other hand, saying something like, "Don't. No, it's okay. I think you're pretty." Not sure exactly what he was saying because I was already screaming at the top of my lungs and turning my mouth and body away from him as much as I could. With my free arm, I started whacking him with the first thing my fingers touched, which happened to be a bottle of glass cleaner. It seemed like it only took seconds for my male coworker to burst in the door. He took one look at the man in the bathroom and started screaming at him too, telling him he can't be in there, calling him a sicko, trash, scumbag, among other more colorful words. The creeper dashed for the door, trying to squeeze by my coworker, who stayed with me down the short hallway, continuing to yell at him, and kept it up till Creeper was all the way out the door, and a minute later, a car sped out of the parking lot. We called the cops. Statements were taken, managers contacted. I went home early and quit soon after, as I was always scared he'd show up again, or try to grab me on my way to my car, or even follow me home. So, Christmas McCreep, let's not meet again. First, let me say I come from a somewhat unconventional family. We are all a little weird or wacky in our own way. Sometimes we get along great, and sometimes not so much. On Christmas Day, my parents and I usually stay home and don't see any of our extended family. However, this past year, we decided to go to my grandmother's house. This is a little different because my grandmother and I have a very rocky relationship with one another. I have overheard my dad mentioning stories about my grandmother and my now deceased grandfather that bordered on child abuse. I remember being really young, and my grandparents screaming at me for the smallest things, and my parents abruptly taking me home. But anyway, I'm in my 20s now, and my father decided since it was Christmas, we could give spending the holiday at my grandma's a chance. The day started out pretty uneventful and, dare I say, pleasant. A lot of conversations and happy memories. My dad and aunt were reminiscing about snowball fights and such from their childhood. There was a healthy conversation about politics, which I thought for sure would change the mood, but surprisingly did not. After several hours and a nice dinner, everyone made their way to the living room for coffee and to just hang out on the couches. I left my coffee on the kitchen table and made my way to the back of the house where the only bathroom was. I washed my hands, fixed my shirt, and walked out of the bathroom. When I walked into the hallway, I was greeted by my grandma, who was just standing there staring at me. I said, "Hi, what's going on?" And I tried to keep walking, but she wouldn't move. Now this is a narrow hallway, and you're only fitting one across. "Excuse me, please," I said, semi-annoyed, yet still she did not budge at all. Finally, she spoke up and said, "What do you think you're doing?" She sounded nervous and almost a little angry. "I was just going to the bathroom," I said, starting to get uneasy about the entire situation. She started to poke my chest and said, "Where is he?" At this point, I was beyond confused. I told her I had no clue what she was talking about. Where's who? I finally shoved past her and started to make my way down the long hallway. That's when it happened. I heard her scream like a banshee and chase me down the hall. I turned around and she lunged at me with a small kitchen knife. She was trying to stab me. She just kept screaming, "Where is he? Where is he?" At this point, she had fallen to the ground trying to take me down with her. After a minute of this, my father finally came running in with my aunt and lifted her up. I was too scared to use any force because I didn't want to hurt her, but I also didn't want to get stabbed. I was so angry and upset, I started to grab my things and told my family I was leaving. As I made my way toward the door, she walked back into the living room and said in a calm voice, "Oh, where are you going? You haven't even finished your coffee." I just left and didn't even respond. This woman, my grandmother, tried to stab me, and I still have no idea why.